3 Decanates of Aries, like you have never seen. Mars, Sun, Jupiter. What is a decanate and how it works? Deep astrology is not about simplistic labels. To understand the tapestry of human consciousness through the Zodiac, we must look at the division of time and celestial space. The Zodiac wheel is divided into 12 signs, and none of them is a monolithic block. Each sign spans a period of approximately 30 days and is subdivided into 3 equal parts, known as decanates. Each decanate lasts about 10 days and is ruled by a planet of the same element as the original sign. In the case of Aries, the fire element. This means that although the primordial essence of Aries remains alive from the first to the last day of the sign, the way this energy manifests gains entirely different nuances, shades, and objectives depending on the ruling planet of each period. First decanate runs from March 21 to March 31st, ruled by Mars. Second decanate runs from April 1st to April 10th, ruled by the Sun. Third decanate runs from April 11 to April 20th, ruled by Jupiter. The map of consciousness, the moon, the ascendant, and the shadow. There's a major illusion in commercial astrology, the idea that we are a specific sign. The fundamental truth is that no one is just their sun sign. The Zodiac is a holographic structure of the human psyche. From the moment you wake up until the moment you go to sleep, you express the courage of Aries, the search for stability of Taurus, the curiosity of Gemini, and the depth of Scorpio. We do this mechanically and unconsciously. The true awakening of consciousness occurs when we begin to operate these 12 archetypes deliberately and presently. The way the essence of your decanate translates into practical life depends directly on the dynamic between the moon and the ascendant. The moon represents the internal emotional world, memories, and automatic defense mechanisms. It speaks precisely about how we process what we feel. The ascendant is our way of showing those emotions and attitudes to the world, the physical posture, and the strategy for approaching life. Through this unique combination, each person expresses the same archetype differently. However, the essence of the archetype remains there. When a person experiences the Aries archetype without consciousness, they fall into the shadow of Aries. Blind reactivity, aggressiveness, impatience, and egocentrism. The rule of the psychic universe is clear. The more a person expresses the shadow of Aries, the more they need to learn through pain. Evolution accelerates the moment we choose to act with intentional clarity instead of automatic reactivity. The first decanate of Aries. The raw impulsiveness of Mars. The archetypal essence. The first decanate, running from March 21 to March 31st, carries the purest, most concentrated, and incandescent charge of Aryan fire. Ruled by Mars, the primary ruler of Aries, this period represents the initial spark of creation, the vital force that breaks the seed through the soil. It is unhesitating courage, willpower in its most primitive and instinctive state. Point of consciousness. The purpose of Mars here is to teach pure initiative. It is the ability to exist and take a stand without asking permission from external approval. The dynamics of the moon and the ascendant. Luminous expression. If the moon and the ascendant are in balanced signs, Mars's impetuous energy gains clarity and focus, transforming raw impulse into active leadership and the ability to carve paths without destroying surroundings. The shadow of the decanate. When lived in unconsciousness, Martian fire becomes purely reactive. It manifests as fury, intolerance toward others' pace, and an inability to finish what was started. The individual reacts to the world as if constantly under attack, generating unnecessary conflicts that result in repetitive pain until self-mastery is learned. The second Decanates of Aries, the shine and will of the sun. The archetypal essence. The second decanate, running from April 1st to April 10th, merges the strength of Mars with the life-generating center, the sun. Here, fire is not just a momentary explosion, but a constant flame that illuminates and warms. The focus shifts from simple action to life purpose, conscious self-expression, and nobility of character. Point of consciousness. This decanate teaches personal sovereignty. The individual does not need to fight the world. They only need to occupy their rightful place as the creator of their own reality. The dynamics of the moon and the ascendant. Luminous expression, the filter of the ascendant and the moon, channels the solar shine into natural charisma, generosity, and the capacity to inspire people. Solar fire ceases to burn and becomes a center of protection and magnetic leadership. The shadow of the decanate. The shadow of the sun under the Aryan guise is unbridled pride, blind vanity, and a compulsive need to be the center of attention. In unconsciousness, refusing to acknowledge mistakes and vulnerabilities leads to painful falls. Pain comes as the necessary tool to melt the inflated ego and rescue the true nobility of the soul. The third Decanates of Aries, the expansion and philosophy of Jupiter, the archetypal essence. The third decanate, running from April 11th to April 20th, connects the courage of Aries with the wisdom and expansion of Jupiter. This is the decanate of the warrior philosopher, the pioneer who fights not for trivial reasons, but for a higher ideal, for justice, truth, and the expansion of horizons. Fire here becomes a torch guiding through the dark. Point of consciousness. The spiritual objective of this period is to move the individual from mere instinctive reaction toward meaning and the elevation of consciousness. The dynamics of the moon and the ascendant. Luminous expression, supported by a mature moon and a strategic ascendant. The individual becomes a master of their own journey, capable of transforming any obstacle into learning and guiding others with ethics and vision for the future. The shadow of the decanate. In unconsciousness, combining Aries with Jupiter generates dogmatism, fanaticism, and the illusion of owning absolute truth. The individual forcefully imposes their worldview. Pain and frustration emerge as corrective forces to dismantle arrogance and teach true spiritual humility. Conscious integration, awakening the Zodiac within you. Understanding the three Decanates of Aries is the first step towards stepping out of automatic mode. When you realize where Aryan energy operates in your daily life, whether in the initiative of Mars, the purpose of the sun, or the vision of Jupiter, You cease to be a hostage to emotional reactions of the moon and the masks of the Ascendant. No planet determines who you are. It reflects your level of consciousness. By consciously integrating the courage and strength of Aries without falling into the traps of its shadow, you take definitive control of your evolutionary journey.